different kind of Foodie Friday this morning, coming to you from just outside Niagara Falls, to a business that's mandate is similar to ours, because ours is all about local stories and theirs is all about local produce. It's small scale farms and the owner is right beside me. We have Renee. Hello, Renee.
Hello.
This is pretty exciting.
I know.
Right? I am a farmer.
Yes.
You're talking to a, well, former farmer.
Yes. Well, you never stop being a farmer. Right? Yeah.
Farmers are so important. They're the lifeblood of our society.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What are you doing here?
Well, besides growing food,
Okay.
we're also a packing station, a food hub to distribute food. So a big part of local food security is both production and distribution. Growing it is one thing. Producing it, cleaning it, distributing it is a whole nother ballgame.
We have one of your volunteers, Nicole.
Nicole.
Putting a box together here.
Yes.
Who are these boxes going out to?
So we have paying customers week by week. We have a vegetable box subscription. We have small, medium, and medium plus. And what we do is basically, if you subscribe to this box, we give another box of food away to the community. So someone who can't afford to pay or can't access healthy food now has access to that food.
Where did this all come from?
Oh,
That's a big question, probably.
I say God. I don't have another answer but God for that one, because it's just such a dynamic process. We're putting one foot in front of the other, trying to do what's right. So this is needed. This is an element to being able to provide food to the community. So the fact we don't have it is surprising.
What's the difference from somebody subscribing to one of these boxes and getting this produce than going to the grocery store and getting their produce from there?
Well, if you go to a corporation, the money leaves the community, right? So you have all this money and this profit that immediately exits the community. What we're trying to do is bring the profit inward. So if that's first and foremost, if I'm giving away a bag of food for every box sold, that's a lot of profit staying within Niagara or Niagara area. Besides that, we have access directly to the farmers. So the produce is much more fresh than you would get in a grocery store, because the grocery store would have it sitting on a truck, would have it sitting in the back room. It's a lot slower of a process for them.
How? Because you have acreage here that you're going to be growing.
Yes.
Growing produce, but you can't rely on that as the only way to get your produce.
No, we've outgrown, we're small scale on a large scale. So the idea of being small scale is that you have multiple farmers making a living, not just one big corporate conventional farm pulling all the profit. And then for us, that's enough. That's an income for that farmer, but it has to be systemized. So that's where we're coming in and systemizing a distribution channel.
What's the area? Hamilton? We go to Hamilton?
Yeah, we're in Hamilton now.
To Niagara Falls?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Smallscalefarms.ca to sign up. We're going to be here for the morning. Let's talk about healthy eating. We need to be eating better.
Yes.
We also have bees. Bees is the logo. We'll talk about what you're doing with the bees when we come back.
Yes.
And I might even help build a box. Let's see what
Yes.
happens. Come back. Small scale farms in Niagara Falls. I love nothing better than on a Foodie Friday to be digging into a nice big juicy old burger, because they're delicious and that's fine, but we need to be working in healthy options as well, and that's what we're doing here just outside the falls. Small scale farms, a great local business started a year ago, right when the pandemic started, by Renee. Hey, so this has been a fun year.
Well, we had been on the ground for about 7 years.
Okay.
So now when the pandemic hit, we actually had just signed the lease on the building. So if you were reading the writing on the wall, you knew that there was trouble coming. So we had been preparing for this. We didn't know it was going to be called COVID,
right.
But we knew that the food system was going to be in trouble. So we had done a lot of work to get to the point where we could make some really quick moves and get lots of farmers together and the customer base, and then boom, we had a CSA.
We saw your volunteers building the boxes because Thursday, Friday, Saturdays are when the boxes are being made for
Yes.
subscribers. What is happening in this area here?
So for every produce box that we sell on a subscription, we give a bag away. So the food that you see there is all produce that is going to the various community groups around the region who are also trying to help people who are food insecure. Oftentimes you have food giveaways that aren't exactly the healthiest food that you can get your hands on. And we feel it's very important that the people who are the most vulnerable get the nutritious food. They are who need it the most. So we give away a bag of food that has items that maybe they haven't had in a while because they're more expensive than, say, junk food.
We aren't eating very good as a society.
No, we are not.
Why is that? What's your...
I think that we have almost given into our addictions. You know, we want comfort. We're uncomfortable, especially right now with everything going on, and a pizza just tastes good. But at the same time, when you eat healthy, you realize how much better you feel day after day after day. So we've sort of moved away from that. I find people don't even remember what real chicken tastes like, or, you know, a meal made with food right out of the garden. You can't beat that. It's a joy that you can't purchase, and you're not going to get with a burger.
A burger now and again is okay, but you got to work in the other stuff, and you got to work in some local produce like these delicious apples and so many other local things that is such a passion for you guys. So let's take a break. Let me build a box, and let's put some of this local produce in here. Head to the website smallscalefarms.ca to learn more. If you're interested in subscribing, it's a really, really neat and fascinating business just outside of Niagara Falls. Busy day here at Small Scale Farms, just outside of the falls, because we are packing up boxes. You want to toss that in there, Renee?
Do you like kale?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So this is actually grown in St. Catharines at Victory Farms. It's a local farm. So to be able to find local produce in March is probably the hardest thing to do. We really aren't growing a lot of produce locally, but we're trying to encourage that. So with Victory Farms, that's what we've done here. We just buy up everything. He comes to me and says, "This is what I have." I say, "I'll buy it."
Yeah.
And it allows me the flexibility to put it in the box.
So this box is, because there's different options in the size of the box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
There's a medium box?
This is a medium box.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yams? What are those?
Yeah, yams, exactly. So we can still, these store very well, so you could still get a lot of produce that is a root vegetable because it'll last the season. So we definitely put a lot of yams into, and they're very high in vitamins and minerals are what you're after. So if you're getting a lot of lettuce or hydroponic vegetables, you're not getting the same minerals that you would if you were growing that in the soil. So there's certain things that we look for that maybe most people don't understand, but again, this kale has a lot more nutrients in it than a kale that was grown with synthetic fertilizers under synthetic lights.
The good thing about kale is it lasts longer than normal.
Absolutely. Is that from a grower?
Yeah, it's harder. It's harder to keep in the fridge.
Yes.
Beets?
Beets, same thing. Root vegetable, cold crop. So you can grow a lot of things in the cold weather, right? So beets are one of those things. So we have heirloom beets as well. So heirloom seeds are a whole nother sustainable move.
And where are you getting all your contacts for when it comes to local stuff?
I have friends.
You have buddies, right? That's what's great about farmers, right?
Exactly.
Everybody's so kind to one another because they're all here for the same reason.
And the idea is I walk in with money to buy. That's not me trying to pitch you on any gig. You know, I'm here to help. That's what the model is for. So same for the farmers in the region that have the proper storage. These apples were pulled off the trees in September. With the proper storage, they can last until the next season when the new apples are ready. So we always have apples, and our Lincoln Line Orchard in Hamilton actually is where we get these. And he still actually has local pears as well. So those are staples in our box as well.
What about foreign?
Foreign is a whole, so we still do foreign. If I can get summer squash from Mexico that is extremely cheap, then I can still balance out my box. If I don't have enough local, which I do not.
Especially right now.
Especially right now, then I have to do that. But what I'm actually doing is making it so that I can still move a lot of that produce into the free boxes as well. So it's definitely an art on how this box comes
Because it's not a
together.
menu. If I'm a subscriber, this arrives at my door every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday of the selection that you've chose from.
Correct.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
And the way to get that, I've been saying small scale farms, but there is an overarching company too.
Yes.
Give a shout out to that.
MyLocalConnection.com.
Okay.
Lots of different information on there as to how we're helping and what the system actually looks like.
Loving this. We'll take a break. We'll come back. You have bees too?
These two.
All right, we'll get into that. Return on Morning Live. Welcome back to Small Scale Farms that has a little bit of everything, including their own chickens. Hi guys, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you, Renee again, who runs the whole spot, right? Really neat what you got going on here, and we've been talking about the produce boxes that you can subscribe to. It's weekly. Did you
Weekly. You could do bi-weekly, you could do monthly, yeah.
Okay. And the boxes themselves are really cool. Who actually makes those boxes?
So this is a company in St. Catharines called From the Thicket. So they actually even do the etching on the side.
Really, eh?
Yeah, they are incredible. We call them magicians.
Well, because they made that, but they also made this. And what?
Yes.
Take us through this, Renee. What is this?
This is a work of art. So you could picture a typical bee box. It's just a square box that you see out in the fields. That's called a Langstroth hive. And so it fits a very particular dimension. You know, like it's this wide by this long, and it fits these frames. And you typically would have your bees build the comb in here. That box is so conventional and so far from the original model that Langstroth himself built that we decided to go back to the 1800s and read the patent and build an actual Langstroth hive.
Can we open it?
Absolutely. So everything has purpose. Cedar tilted this way so the rain runs off. The landing over here is so the bees can land properly. Everything has a reason. So, and then in here, we have the double glass. So you don't have to, that's insulation. So the bees don't like cold weather. So we want to make sure that they're warm, but we also want to make sure they're dry. So it's a huge component to also have ventilation, which they cut these with a 3D printer. So everything is custom, right? Like everything that you see came right from the patent.
Do you have working boxes right now with bees in them?
We do. This is going to be our first year of trying it this way. I'm sure you've heard there's a lot of bee death. If we can help them, this is our first move to try and do that. If we can't help the pesticides that are coming off the crops, then this is our next best move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's this going to go? What's the future hold for small scale farms?
That's a great question.
You obviously want to continue to promote eating local, right?
100%.
Not even eating local, healthy local.
I just would like to live in a community that took care of themselves, you know? So like the mental health that we see is so vast. And so for me, the most important thing is to be taking care of yourself, but you can't do that properly unless you have a community around you that also supports that mentality. So I really just want to continue to help people come enjoy hanging out with the chickens, you know,
right.
and come and get your hands dirty and learn about bees.
Because we've been talking about you can subscribe to the box. What's the overarching?
MyLocalConnection.com.
MyLocalConnection.com. But you can also, you're doing curbside. If you want to grab a box, you can do that too. And they're just right on Lundy's Lane outside of Niagara Falls. Hey, good stuff.
Awesome.
Really nice to meet you.
You too.
Let's keep in touch because I want to see where this all goes.
Thank you.
Okay? Cheers.